I'm a first-time home buyer in the process of closing on a house, and the home is a 1954 red brick construction, and the prior homeowners have painted it, and the inspectors recommended that the paint be redone, but I'm trying to understand if it would be better to restore it back to the red brick or continue painting.
Well, that's a very good question. Obviously, sight unseen, just by the information you're giving me, it would be very difficult for me to be honest with you on the fact that we could tell you one thing or the other without seeing it. A lot of times, the red brick that was painted, now you got to strip it, and you're going to have to end up getting that back off, and that's a pretty big undertaking because a lot of time that requires maybe sandblast.
I was going to ask, do you sandblast that?
Yeah. Because there's just certain times when people go to the wrong level, and I'm going to say that's the wrong level. Somebody just, they took it and just painted it. So you're probably a little bit stuck on probably just repainting it, but that could be all hashed out on a meeting. We could have a conversation in person. It doesn't cost nothing. We do free consults. So, yeah.
Congratulations as a first-time home buyer. I don't know exactly there's only a couple areas in Arizona that red brick could be, but I will tell you, Levi, those are great houses. I am sorry to hear somebody painted it. That is like one of my biggest, I don't understand. Here you've got a masonry product. Your exterior red brick is your decorative finish.
100%.
There was no reason to paint it. You spent money on something that didn't need to be done, and now you've created an issue where you have to repaint and repaint. So you took a non-maintenance product and added maintenance to it. Why people paint red brick or slump block, I do not understand that at all. There are masonry sealers that occasionally you can spray on there that are water-based, that if you want like a shiny, a
wet look. We offer that. And that is the tragedy of this situation you're facing. It's the same as like a front door that's wood. Once somebody paints it, what was the purpose of that? Why would you destroy something so beautiful as a wooden front door? It's the same with your slump block, your red bricks. They are the accent, and everything just kind of flows around that. So you're in that situation, Levi, and I am sorry that happened, but we can still look at it and see what we can do to salvage the better side of this.
And then we could do a couple comparative things. And okay, here's what it's going to cost to, do a proper paint job. Here's what it's going to cost to sandblast. That's probably going to be 2 to 3 times. But like, how long are you looking on staying there? If you're planning on staying there 30, 40, 50 years, well, then it's going to be cheaper to sandblast in that long stretch of time because you're not going to have to paint 5 or 6 times in that period of time.
Yeah, to get it back to its natural components. Yeah, that's would be the conversation we would need to have. And there's very slim pickings when it comes to sandblasting companies out right now. There's not a whole lot of them out there. Now, I'm not quite sure if Rosie doesn't have somebody on the team.
We have a subcontractor on the remodeling division that does sandblasting, but I couldn't tell you the last time a homeowner called us looking for a sandblaster. So.
Well, here's the thing. We do a lot of garage doors also, just so that out there. A lot of times homeowners just want to refresh their garage doors, so we just come out there and give them a great real price. So for you, Levi, the thing is we would have to contact somebody for them to even come out and just tell you what that would be to do that. And, that's not in our wheelhouse, but it is one of those things that it can be a conversation. It's a big undertaking, and the cost is usually strip it. When I had one garage door, it almost would have behooved the guy just to replace the garage door because of just the sheer amount of preparation. And everything goes back to preparation. So when you're sandblasting, because of the velocity that you're shooting sand onto something, to strip it will eat through just about anything else that's not protected. And then now you're looking at woodwork replacement. It just becomes a nightmare.
And just so you know, Levi, we're just talking about our aggravation that somebody put a coating on top of the red brick. You're buying a great home. Those 60, 50, 70-year-old,
I think he's 54
red brick homes were built incredible, and you're going to be very happy.
Well, Levi, just on the other note of that, whenever I get calls to come out and do fray estimates on those homes, I know it's very minimal amount of painting on those homes because generally I don't have to worry about the red brick. I just got to protect it because that's usually the case. So it is pretty tragic that happened, but we can manage to solve some problems.